Live from Washington, D.C., Sekulow Live. Phone lines are open for your questions right now. And now, Chief Counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice, Sekulow.
Welcome to the broadcast, everyone. I trust you had a wonderful and meaningful Christmas with your family. We wanted to do something a little bit different. What we're going to do on this broadcast is kind of take a look back. You know, we have had a whole series. You could write a book on the number of cases we've had involving Christmas, whether it's the inability of students that wanted to have a Christmas song that had a Christian message in it in their Christmas concert, or now they'd call it a holiday concert. We had the situation where words of songs were actually edited because of Christian references to them. We even have one where the word Jesus was deemed inappropriate by a school administrator. I'm happy to say that a lot of those cases now get resolved very quickly. It's rare that you have to go to court over a fight over the Christmas holidays or the celebration of the real reason for the season, and that is, of course, the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. But that didn't happen out of the air. This was a lot of work that went in literally for decades. And what we're going to do on this broadcast is take a look back, cases going back decades that were involved in these disputes that now are really settled law. And the law's developed really in a very well-meaning way now and really well thought out. I think the courts have really done this right, and that's the good news. Now, it was a lot of work on our ACLJ lawyers, and your support of the ACLJ made that happen. But our ability to publicize these cases at the time also had a dramatic impact on other cases. So you may have had a case in one particular town in a particular state, but then it would impact other cities and other states across the country, because just the notoriety that these cases would get would have a big impact on the entire country. So I'm happy to give you a report. When it comes to the celebration of Christmas in our nation's public schools, it's generally really good. You'll hear about the war on Christmas, but in reality, we've been really successful. We've had great results on getting these cases resolved, normally without litigation. Sometimes you had to go to court, but most of the times you were able to really get it resolved through the school board proceedings, through the school officials. You really could get these cases resolved as long as you knew the facts of your case, the law, and you had a client that was willing to stand up for their rights. And what you're going to see in this broadcast today are these young kids that wanted to stand up for their rights, and their parents wanted to support them in that. So it's an exciting time. We're really excited about taking a look back. A little bit later in the broadcast, you're going to hear a very special song that our band, Sekulow Band, put together about Christmas in the Holy Land. I had a unique experience back at Oxford University this summer. I was working on a program that Oxford has where you go in and you lecture and you have these giant panel discussions on contemporary issues. Mine was on religion, conflict in the Middle East. And one of the topics I addressed, of course, was ISIS. And we wrote a book, Rise of ISIS, from that. But also what happened there, we had a lot of interesting conversations. And from those conversations, I took copious notes of these conversations I were having with all these young PhD candidates from around the globe. These were scholars in their late 20s, early 30s that were asking really deep questions. And one of the students asked me, he said, Dr. Sekulow, what is the hope for Jerusalem? What's the hope of Jerusalem? What's going to be the actual hope? And I said, well, it's the Prince of Peace. Jesus is the hope of Jerusalem. And from those notes, we actually created a song. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you right now. We'll play the whole thing later in the broadcast, but here's a little bit of that right now.
And only God knows when the calm from the storm begins. The basis of hope, this hate is going to end. Where nations can live in peace, struggle and battle cease under the hope of Jerusalem.
As we continue on in this broadcast, let me encourage you to do two things. Number one, if you appreciate the work of the ACLJ, we've got a matching challenge, and these are the last few days of that matching challenge. I mean, literally right now. And these are our most important days in the matching challenge campaign. What that means is any amount you donate to the ACLJ, we're getting a matching gift for. So just go to aclj.org or call us at 1-877-989-2255. When you donate now, we're getting a match for it. So again, the easiest way is aclj.org. There's a button right in the corner of the homepage. You hit that and you can fill it out right online, or you can call us at 1-877-989-2255. Another thing you could do, if you've enjoyed the music that you've been hearing these last couple of weeks on the broadcast, we have that available as an EP. And the proceeds from the sale of this EP, which includes a number of Christmas songs that you know, as well as The Hope of Jerusalem, the song that we wrote, are available. The proceeds go to our work defending the persecuted church around the globe. And you can also, by the way, get access to the song we did with Ricky Skaggs. And again, when you purchase that, it goes to the same fund, defending Christians being persecuted. So there's multiple ways you can help us right here at the end of the year. We encourage you to do that. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.
Welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. As I mentioned, as we went into a break, we're in our Matching Challenge campaign. That means any amount you donate, we're getting a matching gift for. Let me encourage you to do that at aclj.org or 1-877-989-2255. If you want to acquire the music, if you want to purchase the music that we've put together, our J. Sekulow Band, including the original song as well as some of the Christmas classics, you could do that as well wherever you buy digital music, and there's information here on the screen of where you can do that. The proceeds of that are also going to our work defending the persecuted church. Let me also say we're going to talk about a case that involved a pop-up book involving the story of Christmas that ends up becoming a constitutional showdown.
Every year about this time, 8-year-old Laura Greska of Leominster, Massachusetts, reads from a very special Christmas book to remind her of the meaning of the season.
"Don't be afraid," he said. "I bring you good news. Today in Bethlehem, a Savior has been born. You will find him laying in a manger."
Last Christmas, when Laura was in the 2nd grade, she was excited about an assignment her public school teacher gave to the class. Bring in a book, the teacher said, that shares your family's Christmas tradition.
The teacher asked her to bring in a book about Christmas, and so she brought in the story of Christmas, and we thought that was the perfect book for Christmas time.
Some of the kids read from books that talked about Santa Claus. Some talked about the Jewish tradition of Hanukkah or the African tradition of Kwanzaa. And then it was Laura's turn.
And when it was my turn, the teacher looked at it and she said that I couldn't read it. She told me that I could just read just show a couple of pages, pictures.
At first, Laura and her parents, Bob and Jessie Greska, didn't know why she wasn't allowed to read from her pop-up book called The First Christmas. But it wasn't long before Laura figured out what the teacher was thinking.
She thought it was religious and that I just couldn't read it, but I didn't understand why all the other kids could read. They're like Hanukkah books and everything.
It's very much a child's book. It's a pop-up book. It's not like she's up there preaching to kids. She wants to just read her child's story to the other kids in her class.
So the Greskas spoke with Laura's teacher at Northwest Elementary School, asking why Laura was treated differently from the other kids.
Basically, she thought she was following policy, although she was a little bit confused on what the policy actually was. So then we spoke with the principal. The principal said the same thing, that what the teacher done was correct.
And the superintendent of the Leominster Public Schools also agreed that the teacher was following school policy.
And so at that point, we thought we should go further with that, and so we contacted the ACLJ.
Vincent McCarthy is the American Center for Law and Justice attorney representing the Greskas in a federal lawsuit against the Leominster Public Schools. McCarthy says Laura Greska hasn't been allowed to exercise her right to free speech on an equal basis with the rest of the students.
No one else was singled out and said that what you brought in was inappropriate. So the subject matter of what Laura brought in was deemed to be inappropriate, out of bounds. And that's viewpoint discrimination, and that violates the First Amendment.
He says by barring Laura from reading her book in class, the school has put religious speech in the same category as profanity.
So religious speech is lumped in with profanity as a subject matter not permitted in a world that otherwise permits all other points of view. So it's kind of ridiculous that religion or religious speech is being placed together with profanity.
ACLJ attorneys have tried to resolve this matter without going to court over it, but the school has refused to discuss changing its policy and settling the case. CBN News was unable to reach a school representative for comment, and calls to the school's attorney were not returned. As for the Greskas, all they want is for the school to treat all the students equally and fairly.
What we'd like to see is that every child has the opportunity to bring in a book of their tradition, of their choice.
That case was successfully resolved, and so was the next case that you're going to see in just a moment involving nativity scenes. You know, believe it or not, 20 years after we've had success at the Supreme Court on the issue of nativity scenes, every year, somewhere, there becomes an issue over nativity scenes. Now, the good news is we get them resolved quickly, but these cases actually will show you why we're able to get those cases resolved so quickly now. Take a look.
In towns across the country, Americans are getting ready for Christmas and Hanukkah. 50 years ago, scenes like this would have been as uncontroversial as the notion of loving your country. But not anymore.
It gets absurd this time of year. You can't call it a Christmas tree. You can't say Merry Christmas in the hallways. Whatever happened to freedom of speech? Why can't we call these things what we know them to be?
And the legal battles that have resulted have usually gone one way: to drive religion and its symbols out of the American public square where they had thrived since the Revolution.
Private citizens have been denied by government officials the right to equal access to government facilities, whether it's parks or other public areas, to place their nativity scenes for the Christmas season.
The true meaning of Christmas is the birth of Jesus Christ, and that is our symbol, is the creche scene, the nativity scene. I didn't know that that wasn't allowed. It's in the dictionary. That's what Christmas is. I thought that's what everybody knew.
Well, I talked with my supervisor first, and he told me that he would talk with the town attorney, and he did, and he got back with me and said that it wasn't permissible that I could put it up in my home or a friend's home or in front of a church or something.
The local tourist commission that's putting on the lighting display told us no, the state would not allow any religious symbols at all.
The position we've taken is that the nativity scene is the reason why Christmas exists, and that having a display at Christmas Island or any other park in the country that refuses to allow the symbol of Christmas, the nativity scene, the birth of Jesus represented in lights and in colors, whatever it might be, would be censorship.
They stated that it would be against the Establishment Clause for this private citizen to erect her nativity scene on public property.
There's been so much controversy. I never imagined it. This is a very small Christian community. A lot of Baptist churches and a lot of Christians in this community, and yet they're still, I think, fighting with the same issue of separation of church and state. And I just don't understand that.
But after a series of letters and oral conversations via the telephone, we convinced them that it would not offend the Establishment Clause if Cindy Pennington had equal access to place her nativity scene on public property.
In the traditional public forum, a park, the nativity scene not only has the right to be displayed, to censor it would be a violation of the Constitution. What the state of Kentucky realized, that if they went to court, they would lose. And the price of losing and the embarrassment that would have caused allowed us, through negotiations, to open up not just this park, but other parks across the state. And the same concept, same theory, could be utilized to open up every public park to the display of nativity scenes at Christmas.
There's been numerous cases over the past few years dealing with private citizens having equal access to express themselves, even if that expression is religious speech on public property. And this is just another example, this victory, which tells us that private citizens indeed have the right to place creches or engage in religious expression on public property.
In public places, people, churches, Christians have the right to display their views, to share their faith, whether it's through written literature or through a nativity scene. And no longer will the real reason for the season, the birth of Jesus, be denied or censored or eliminated because a government bureaucrat feels like it's easier to remove the symbol rather than have to tolerate it. Again, that case was successfully resolved. And by the way, those cases are successfully resolved not just because we have great lawyers in the field or that we have a great media team that get the information out. It's because of you. Your support of the ACLJ makes these cases successful. Now here's where I want to encourage you to do something. We're in the last few days of the month. This is our biggest month of the year, and the last few days are our biggest time. We are getting ready for our matching challenge. December is a huge month for us, so I want to encourage you that have been supporting the ACLJ to continue to do that. And when we have a matching challenge, that means any amount you donate to the ACLJ, we get a matching gift for. We had a call that came in the other day on radio, $3,000 gift, we get 6. That's the way it works through the entire month of December. So we encourage you, whatever the amount may be, it may be $10 or $5, we get a match for that, and it all adds up. And this is a big month for us. December is a big part of our budget. We're really focusing on our work defending Christians around the globe. So this is a particularly important time. We have so many cases involving so much of the Christian persecution issues. We've got developed, by the way, also our entire center on that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the broadcast. But right now, I'd encourage you to participate in our matching challenge campaign. You can do it at aclj.org, or you can simply call us at 1-877-989-2255. The phone number's right there on the screen. Again, aclj.org is the easiest way to participate in our matching challenge campaign. We urge you to do that, or 1-877-989-2255. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.
Welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. As I said, we're taking a look back on some of the key cases we've had over the issue of celebration of Christmas during the Christmas season, in public schools especially, but in other places as well. This is an interesting story. A student simply wants to sing Noel as part of the winter pageant, as they called it, or winter festival concert. Noel, very simple. We know the song, meaningful song about Jesus. It was censored. Take a look back.
This little girl with a captivating smile is Kara Russell. She is a beauty and talent contest winner. This home video captures her competing at the Las Vegas Dunes Hotel. But when she wanted to participate in her school winter pageant, she ran into a snag.
I went into the music teacher and asked her if I could sing, and she said, pick a song. And then I had a friend stay the night, and we picked Noel. And I went in the next day and told her that I wanted to sing Noel. And she said, I'm sorry, but the principal said that we can't have anything to do with Christ in our songs or in our winter concert.
When the administration received the case demand letter outlining the law and Kara's First Amendment rights, the administration quickly informed the principal that Kara should be allowed to sing the first Noel. Kara says it wasn't long after that she was informed by her principal of the good news.
My mom was really praising the Lord, jumping up and down, couldn't wait till my dad got home, really praising the Lord. She was excited.
The evening of the school pageant, Kara practiced with her mother one last time as they made Christmas candy together. And what would she be thinking about when she sang that evening before her fellow students, parents, and teachers?
In fields where they I'll be thinking about my family and God and how great He was to have me sing this, and He just helped me all the way through it. And He's really great. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, these cases involving, like, for instance, the singing of Noel at Christmas, have generally been resolved very successfully. That's because, again, of your support to the ACLJ, for which we are grateful. I also mentioned early on this conversation I had with students while I was teaching at Oxford University this summer. One of those discussions ended up becoming a song, I think a really meaningful song about the ultimate hope of Jerusalem, which of course is the Prince of Peace. The song's called Hope of Jerusalem. It's performed by our Sekulow band. Take a listen.
Staring outside from these old wooden spaces, remembering those who have passed through before. Scent of the primrose, the symbol of courage. My sentiment hungers to understand more. Friends brought together in deep conversation, passions and concerns of this holy land. All of the faces grown sallow with conflict, bringing the thoughts to the question I ask. Without understanding, we can't have agreement between. As all of our words fill this room, will it change what we've seen? And only God knows when the calm from the storm begins. The basis of all this hate is going to end. Where nations can live in peace, struggle and battle cease under the hope of Jerusalem.
Is this a day we can start a new chapter, sharing the blame for the sins of the past, having the vision to change our condition, out from the shadows our journeys have cast. Think of a time when our children's children will never be touched by the sting of the grave. There is no comfort in acting with courage, but nothing is too difficult for the brave. Although we come from an anguished and grieving land, the prayer of our heart is the peace that can only come from
Well, that's going to do it for our broadcast this week, and it's our last broadcast of this year. We look forward to coming to you with more news and information, of course, next year on our broadcast. But this has been quite a year, and we've got to say a couple of thank yous. Number one, thank you to our ACLJ members. We could not do it without you. Thank you to the networks that carry our broadcast each and every week. You play a really important part in us, in our ability to really get the advocacy out there. You'd be amazed at how many cases get resolved simply because we're on the air talking about the issues. For those networks that are carrying our broadcast, a huge thank you. We couldn't do it without you. These last few days of December are our biggest days of the year as far as donation and support goes to the ACLJ. We're in the final phase of our matching challenge campaign, and folks, we are really close to hitting our goal. We're not quite there yet, so these last 3 or 4 days really will have an impact. In fact, right till the end of the month, literally, at the end of the month at midnight, any amount you donate to the ACLJ goes to us and becomes part of our matching challenge, which means whatever you donate, we get a matching gift for. So let me encourage you to go to aclj.org. That's aclj.org. That's the easiest way to do it. Or 1-877-989-2255. But again, the easiest way to make that online contribution, aclj.org. If you've enjoyed the music that you heard in this broadcast, you can purchase it as well. Hope of Jerusalem is the name of the album. It's the Sekulow Band. Wherever you get digital music, it's available. The proceeds from that are going to our work defending the persecuted church around the globe. Have a great new year.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.